Muslim people are among the most hated people in the world now, especially in this nation, due to a few extremists. Now, we see that group of people and we want to portray the image of a bomber or a terrorist. And that's kind of sparked the conversation of, are we in danger by Muslims? Should they be banned? Should we ban all Middle Easterners? And now tell me this, if a select group, a real small group, fine group of French people decided to come together and terrorize the US as ISIS does, would we ban all people from France? Or would we look at French people differently? My answer to that would be no. The two nations would come together and create a mutual agreement to capture them in a humane manner. As far as I'm concerned, we're all foreigners to this land, to the natives of this land. They weren't given any say whether they should keep the Europeans or ban the Europeans, the Spanish or the French, when they first arrived to America some 100 years ago. The 7 countries that are currently banned have had no history with death and related to the US citizens. So now this has caused quite the stir. People that were already on the plane when this law took place were then rejected and turned around upon landing. People that were coming to visit family, people that were coming to work, people coming to school, people that had arrangements, people. They were people. We're lucky enough in this nation to have the best living standards, to have the best opportunities in the world. And this was all created by people that were once immigrants that arrived on these shores on some day. And Americans are more likely to commit terror in this country than any other race anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, we need to be more involved in the processes that go on in this country, not what goes on outside of the country, not the people that are going to come in, the people that are already here. MotherJones.com has statistics on all U.S. deaths, mass deaths, beginning from 1982 through the current. And the majority of those incidents are from white men, including 1 woman in the past 9 years. Then nearly half that of black descent, a third of Hispanic, nearly a sixth of Asian, and less than a third of all other nationalities, excluding the ones previously stated and Native Americans. So that small group in that 3% includes Middle Easterners. Contrary to the Native Americans being taken advantage of, they've only had an eighth of the killings that the white men have had within the past 9 years. But those stats don't include the police brutalities and the deaths therefore occurring of innocent men, women, and children. Too many people are dying. Victims lie dead or hurt in the flesh or by the soul by the hand of their brothers and sisters. I just want to remind everyone watching this video that we are of one race, the human race. Color, like passions and possessions and pastimes, are dividing people. Why can't we just let other people do what they want if it affects us not in a negative way? When we accept other people's interests and hobbies, we begin to grow from a place that we already are to another level. So when we start to accept people from other nations, we expand as a whole, and that's what has happened throughout the past several hundred years. Once people come and unite from different mindsets and different areas, they together can create better things than they would have separated. So people are more likely to be closed-minded about things that they are unfamiliar with, or people that they only trust within the same race as opposed to other races. And minorities in general are trusted less than, white people. So why? And why do people have to take the lives of others? Is it simply hate, or is it something else entirely? The world is so big, there's so many things to do, there's so many places to go, that you don't have to resort to killing people. You don't have to resort to violence or hatred. You can go anywhere in this world, live anywhere you want to, do anything you want to. Why spend time being negative? But unfortunately, people do this knowing the repercussions. knowing that they'll have to be either put to death in some areas of the country or just life in jail, or even a night in jail is too long. People have family, friends, and other interests. Nobody has a right to take anything away from anybody else, never mind their life. Now, I don't understand why cops, period, black, white, men, women, any nationalities, are getting away with killing people. And how can they make peace with themselves knowing that they just prevented somebody from going home and eating dinner with their family? They just prevented their wife, their kids from seeing them that night. After the night is over, after it's not trending news any longer, the family that victim belongs to is gone and will never return. Think about losing a mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, loved one. People can't be replaced. Nobody deserves death. Death is the point of no return. I say this to all people. When that trigger's pulled, you can't take that bullet back, no matter what the reason for pulling it. The issue this country has is not everywhere else. It's not other people that aren't already here. It's here. We have problems here. We have many problems here. And it's not fair for anybody else to start pointing fingers and say, well, it's your fault that we have so many deaths in the U.S., when in reality, it's not. It's become unprecedented that every nationality has come over to this country, willing or by force, has had to fight for equality. It started with the Europeans, the Irish, the African, the Italian, the Japanese. We live in an unjust world. People have to wake up to the reality that we have to again fight for our rights.